Every word you speak is a vibration in the universe, a frequency that ripples through reality itself. Your words aren't merely sounds leaving your lips. They're incantations shaping the very fabric of your existence. The ancient mystics knew it. Quantum physicists are proving it. And those who hold power have been using this knowledge against you. What if I told you that the words you use every day are either building the life of your dreams or constructing invisible prisons around your potential? You've been programmed not just by society, but by language itself, to accept boundaries that exist only in your mind. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to harness the vibrational essence of language to transform your reality at its core. This isn't just another self-help concept. It's the fundamental key to reclaiming your power as the conscious creator of your experience. Your transformation begins now. The invisible prison. Have you ever felt an unexplainable emptiness? Like you're playing a character in someone else's story? As if the dreams you pursue, the beliefs you hold, and the words you speak were programmed into you long before you had any say in the matter? This sensation isn't paranoia. It's your deeper consciousness recognizing profound truth. The very language you've been using since childhood isn't just a tool for communication. It's an elaborate system of mental programming that dictates what you perceive as possible in your life. This isn't merely philosophical speculation. Neurolinguistic research has confirmed that the specific words you use regularly create physical neural pathways in your brain, making certain thoughts easy to access, while others become increasingly difficult to conceive. For millennia, those in positions of authority have understood this fundamental truth. Language isn't just how we describe reality. It's how reality is constructed. Words don't merely communicate ideas. They're the architectural blueprints that your mind uses to build your perception of what's possible. The language you've inherited was carefully crafted to maintain social order, to keep you productive but contained, ambitious but predictable, hopeful but ultimately dependent on systems beyond your control. This video will shatter those constraints forever. I'm going to reveal the exact linguistic codes that have been keeping you trapped in limited thinking, and more importantly, teach you the precise verbal formulas that will allow you to break free and access realities you've been programmed to believe are impossible. By the end of our time together, you will possess the linguistic tools to rewire your neural pathways, reshape your vibrational field, and manifest the experiences that have always been your birthright. The etymology of control. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the sudden realization that every belief you hold, every goal you chase, and every limitation you accept was implanted in your mind through careful linguistic manipulation. The unsettling reality is that language itself is a sophisticated control system, filled with hidden meanings and subconscious triggers designed to keep you operating within prescribed boundaries. Consider the word spelling. When you arrange letters to form words, you're literally casting a spell, organizing symbolic patterns that influence consciousness. This isn't a poetic metaphor. It's a fundamental recognition that words create mental and emotional states that directly shape reality. When you spell out your thoughts, you're bringing concepts to life, giving them energy and substance in the physical world. The words you choose determine which realities become accessible to you. Now, examine the word contract. Break it down to its components. Come meaning within tract, relating to drawing or pulling. A contract doesn't simply establish agreement. It creates a binding path that restricts movement and freedom. Contracts don't just connect parties. They constrain possibilities, locking you into predefined patterns of behavior and obligation. Even the word human conceals deeper significance. In numerous ancient traditions, who represented light or divine energy, man from manas refers to mind or consciousness. Within the very word that defines our species lies a hidden reminder that you are not merely physical. You are conscious light, capable of far more than your conditioning permits you to believe. Consider morning, the beginning of each day. Notice how it sounds identical to mourning, the grieving of loss. Each day, you unconsciously mourn the death of infinite possibilities as you step back into the limited identity and routines that society has assigned to you. Look upward to universe, from uni meaning one and verse meaning spoken sentence. The entire cosmos is, etymologically, one word, a single unifying vibration for which all creation unfolds. This ancient understanding suggests that everything in existence emerges from vibrational patterns, spoken into being through language. Your emotions, or emotions, are literally energy in motion. Every word you speak generates emotional frequencies that ripple through your energetic field, attracting or repelling experiences that match that vibrational signature. Broadcast. To cast broadly, to widely disperse a spell. Every advertisement, news segment, and social media feed is literally casting influential thought forms across society, programming collective consciousness on a massive scale. Government combines govern to control, and ment from the Latin mentis, meaning mind. Governance isn't just about managing resources and maintaining order. It's fundamentally about directing and controlling thought patterns within the collective. And finally, mortgage, from mort meaning death and gage meaning pledge. A mortgage isn't just a loan. It's a death pledge, a commitment that binds you to decades of labor, ensuring your continued participation in economic systems regardless of whether they serve your highest potential. These aren't coincidences or quirky etymological curiosities. Language was developed over centuries to shape human consciousness in specific ways. But here's the liberating truth. Once you recognize these linguistic spells, you can break free from their influence and begin crafting your own empowering language patterns. You possess the power to consciously select words that expand rather than contract your reality, language that creates possibilities instead of limitations. By choosing your words with intention, you can dismantle the linguistic prison that has shaped your life and replace it with verbal architecture of your own conscious design. Awakening linguistic consciousness. If words hold this much power, why doesn't everyone recognize it? The answer is deceptively simple. Most people remain linguistically unconscious, repeating patterns of speech without ever questioning their origin or impact. They use language habitually, never seeing the invisible chains their words create. But now, you're awakening to a profound understanding that most will never grasp, that language is not just description, but creation. Ask yourself, what words have been shaping your experience? Are they words of abundance and possibility, or scarcity and limitation? The phrases you've been unconsciously repeating have been creating your reality all along. It's time to reclaim your linguistic power, to consciously select words that align with the reality you wish to create rather than the limitations you've been programmed to accept. The vibrational science of language. Prepare to understand the hidden vibrational mechanics behind your words. This is a metaphysical speculation. It's grounded in the cutting edge of quantum physics and neuroscience. Every time you speak, you're not just communicating. You're generating specific vibrational frequencies that interact with the quantum field around you. This isn't theoretical. It's been demonstrated repeatedly through the science of cymatics, which shows how sound waves organize physical matter into precise geometric patterns. Different sounds create different physical arrangements in matter. When you speak, your words generate specific vibrations that literally reorganize the energetic field surrounding you, influencing the probability of certain events manifesting in your experience. Dr. Masaru Emoto's groundbreaking research demonstrated this phenomenon through water crystal experiments. Water exposed a positive, loving words form beautiful, symmetrical crystal structures. The same water, when exposed to negative language, form chaotic, fragmented patterns. This becomes profoundly significant when you consider that your body is approximately 60% water. The words you speak and hear aren't just affecting your thoughts. They're literally reshaping the molecular structure of your physical form. Numerous studies on plant growth have confirmed this vibrational impact. Plants exposed to kind, encouraging words grow faster and stronger than identical plants subjected to negative or harsh language. The vibrational quality of words directly affects living organisms at a cellular level. In your daily life, this vibrational principle operates continuously. High-frequency words like love, abundance, and gratitude elevate your mental state, boost your immune system, and enhance your cognitive function. Low-frequency words like hate, lack, and fear trigger stress responses, suppress immune function, and restrict creative thinking. You experience this effect firsthand. Think about how differently your body responds to hearing, I love you versus I hate you. These aren't just emotional reactions. They're physical responses to specific vibrational frequencies that affect every cell in your body. To harness this vibrational power, begin by observing the words you use most frequently. Are they elevating or diminishing your energetic state? Challenge yourself to replace depleting language with energizing alternatives. Instead of saying, I have to, try, I choose to, rather than I can't afford it. Shift to, how can I create the resources for this? However, there's a crucial distinction between merely repeating positive words and truly embodying their vibration. For affirmations to transform your reality, they must align with your subconscious beliefs. Simply parroting phrases you don't believe creates internal conflict rather than vibrational harmony. Effective affirmations must feel authentic and attainable. Begin with statements that stretch your current beliefs without triggering outright rejection. As these smaller shifts take root, you can gradually expand into more ambitious declarations. Are you prepared to become the conscious architect of your experience? Start today by intentionally selecting words that vibrate at the frequency of the reality you wish to create. The more you align your language with high-frequency vibrations, the more your physical reality will reflect that harmonious state. The subconscious language factory. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others struggle despite equal effort? The hidden differentiator often lies in subconscious linguistic patterns operating beneath conscious awareness. Your subconscious mind functions like a sophisticated language factory, continuously generating thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations that shape your perception of reality. This mental production facility operates 24/7, producing an estimated 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts daily, the vast majority running on autopilot, without your conscious input. Most of your core beliefs were installed during childhood, absorbed from parents, teachers, media, and cultural messaging. These beliefs now operate as background programs in your mental operating system, filtering your perception and limiting what you see as possible. The power of the subconscious linguistic programming was demonstrated in a fascinating psychological experiment. Participants watched identical footage of a car accident, but were asked slightly different questions afterward. Those asked about when the cars hit each other estimated slower speeds than those asked when the cars smashed into each other. The single word change dramatically altered their perception and memory of the same event. This illustrates how specific words don't just describe reality, they actively filter and shape our perception of it. Even subtle linguistic differences can drastically change how we interpret and remember experiences. Your subconscious operates like a mirror, reflecting back your most deeply held beliefs about yourself and the world. When you habitually think or say, I'm terrible at math, your subconscious accepts this as instruction, creating mental resistance whenever you encounter mathematical challenges. This phenomenon, known as self-verification, explains why your mind works to confirm existing beliefs. Your subconscious doesn't judge whether beliefs are helpful or harmful. It simply works to validate and reinforce them through your experiences. The language patterns you internalize as a child have particular power. Developmental psychology confirms that the words we hear during formative years establish deep neural pathways that can persist into adulthood. Children repeatedly told they're smart or capable develop drastically different self-concepts than those labeled difficult or slow. One of the most powerful tools for reprogramming the subconscious language patterns is visualization, combined with intentional verbal affirmation. Your subconscious mind doesn't easily distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events. Elite athletes leverage this principle by mentally rehearsing perfect performances while affirming their success. You can apply the same technique by dedicating 5 minutes daily to vividly imagining yourself achieving a specific goal while verbally affirming statements aligned with that outcome. Phrases like, I am confidently mastering this skill, or I am naturally attracting the right opportunities, paired with detailed visualization, creates powerful new neural pathways. To reprogram your mental language factory, begin by becoming aware of your habitual self-talk. Notice the specific phrases you repeat when facing challenges or describing yourself. Are they empowering or limiting? Shift statements like, I always mess this up to, I'm learning and improving each time. This isn't merely positive thinking. It's consciously directing your neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout life. By intentionally changing your linguistic patterns, you're physically rewiring your brain to support your desired reality rather than reinforce limitations. Ready to reprogram the language factory in your mind? Start with small, believable shifts. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, pause and choose an alternative phrase that opens possibilities rather than closing them. Over time, these seemingly minor linguistic adjustments will create profound shifts in your perception and experience. Quantum linguistics. We've entered the most fascinating frontier where language and quantum physics converge. The famous double-slit experiment revealed something that shocked the scientific community. The mere act of observation influences how particles behave, switching between waves and particles depending on whether they're being watched. Now consider this profound implication. Your words function as observers in the quantum field. Every thought you think, every word you speak acts as an observation that collapses infinite possibilities into specific probabilities in your experience. This is a metaphysical speculation. Studies in psychoneuroimmunology have documented how positive linguistic patterns correlate with improved immune function, accelerated healing, and enhanced cognitive performance. A groundbreaking study published in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine found that individuals who regularly use positive affirmations showed measurably lower cortisol levels and increased production of beneficial neuropeptides. Your body responds at a biochemical level to the words you use, as if they're toggling quantum switches that determine which version of reality you experience. The simplest linguistic shift can fundamentally alter your neurochemistry and, by extension, your experience of life. For example, replacing I have to with I get to isn't just semantic wordplay. It's a quantum choice that selects a completely different probability stream in your experience. In quantum terms, you're selecting a higher probability outcome where opportunities flow to you rather than obligations weighing upon you. Quantum theory allows for multiple parallel possibilities, and your language acts as the selector mechanism that determines which version of reality you inhabit. Every word choice is a subtle nudging of your consciousness towards specific probability streams. Try this quantum linguistic experiment. For one full day, consciously replace every limiting phrase with an expansive alternative. Instead of "this is impossible," try "I haven't discovered the approach yet," rather than "I always fail at relationships." Shift to "I'm learning what authentic connection requires." In quantum physics, there's a concept called collapsing the wave function. When an observer makes a measurement, the field of possibility solidifies into a specific outcome. Your affirmations function as conscious quantum measurements, collapsing potential into experience. This explains why present-tense affirmations, "I'm becoming successful," are more effective than future-oriented ones. "I will be successful someday." Present-tense language collapses a quantum field into immediate experience, rather than perpetually postponing it to some theoretical future. If language holds this much quantum creative power, why aren't we all consciously using it? There are significant barriers: habitual thought patterns, social conditioning, and perhaps most importantly, a collective agreement to maintain the illusion that words are merely descriptive rather than creative. By becoming aware of the quantum nature of language, you're taking the first step toward breaking these limitations. The matrix of words is real, and with every phrase you use, you're building the quantum reality you experience. Media manipulation through language. Mass media operates through sophisticated linguistic strategies designed to influence your subconscious mind, creating a world where reality is crafted through carefully chosen words. Every headline, every phrase is a powerful incantation programming your perception, and this programming is affecting you right now, whether you realize it or not. One of the most powerful techniques is framing, the strategic use of words to shape how you perceive information. Consider how differently you respond emotionally to a public gathering described as a riot versus a demonstration or a protest. The event hasn't changed, but your emotional and intellectual response to it shifts dramatically based on a single word choice. Neurological research confirms that different linguistic frames activate entirely different neural networks in your brain. Media outlets leverage this knowledge to guide audiences toward particular emotional reactions and conclusions without ever making their intentions explicit. This hidden linguistic sleight of hand is among the most potent tools for shaping public opinion on everything from policy decisions to social issues. By controlling the language used to describe events, media outlets can generate support or condemnation for virtually any person, group, or idea. There's another subtle force at work known as the spiral of silence. This theory explains how the media creates the impression that certain viewpoints are mainstream, while others are fringe or dangerous. When media consistently amplifies specific perspectives, people holding different views begin to feel isolated, often choosing silence rather than risking social rejection. This creates linguistic echo chambers where only a narrow range of expressions circulate, making the public believe that dominant narratives represent consensus when they may actually be carefully engineered perceptions. In this way, media doesn't simply report reality, it manufactures it through linguistic manipulation. What can you do to protect yourself? Start by developing awareness of these linguistic techniques. Notice the specific words used in headlines, the repetition of certain phrases, and the framing of narratives. Ask yourself, why these precise words? What emotional response are they designed to trigger? By recognizing these techniques, you begin to lift the linguistic spell, an essential step in reclaiming your perceptual sovereignty from manipulative influence. Remember that news isn't simply reflecting reality. It's actively shaping how you perceive and interact with the world through carefully chosen language. Neurophysiology of language. Let's examine how words physically alter your brain. Every word you encounter reinforces specific neural pathways through neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections based on experience. This isn't limited to conscious affirmations. It includes every single phrase you hear, read, or think. Clinical language therapy studies demonstrate that specific word choices can fundamentally change how your brain processes emotional stimuli. Certain phrases trigger positive neurochemical responses, while others activate stress patterns associated with fear and limitation. This neuroplasticity is particularly significant because it contradicts the outdated belief that only children can easily form new mental patterns. While early developmental periods are important, adults retain remarkable neuroplasticity throughout life. Learning to speak differently, replacing limiting phrases with growth-oriented language, physically rewires your neural architecture even in adulthood. From a quantum perspective, each word functions as an observation that collapses potential into experience. When you speak positively about yourself or your future, you're not merely expressing optimism. You're selecting specific potentials from an infinite field of possibilities, creating reality frames based on your linguistic choices. Beyond individual word choice, collective language creates perceptual frames that guide group belief systems. Terms like economic growth versus exploitation, or security measures versus restrictions shape societal understanding without explicit discussion. These frames aren't just perspectives, they're cognitive tools that create emotional responses, directing collective reality in specific directions. Here's the fundamental insight. Language is a tool you can wield with intention. Words like abundance, growth, and possibility elevate mental and emotional states, while words rooted in scarcity consciousness create corresponding limitations. As you begin selecting language aligned with your vision, you're actively reshaping your neurological architecture and, consequently, your experiential reality. We've reached a pivotal moment of understanding. Words are not merely symbolic representations. They're vibrational forces that shape consciousness, biology, and material reality. From the subtlest thought to your grandest vision, language defines how you perceive the world and how the world responds to you. You've been given a master key, a tool to unlock dimensions of experience that have always existed but remained inaccessible due to linguistic limitation. Take a moment to reflect. What words have formed the foundation of your reality until now? What phrases have you been repeating that constrain rather than liberate your potential? I invite you to experiment with a simple practice. For just one day, consciously observe the words you use internally and externally. When you catch yourself using disempowering language, immediately substitute phrases that expand possibility rather than contract it. Imagine what becomes possible when you take conscious control of your linguistic patterns. When you speak with deliberate intention, you create a reality that reflects your authentic potential rather than programmed limitations. You're no longer bound by invisible constraints. You have the power to create new experiential dimensions through conscious language. Remember, this journey isn't about becoming someone different. It's about uncovering your natural creative capacity that has been obscured by linguistic programming. The power has always resided within you, waiting to be activated through conscious expression. Your new reality begins with the very next word you choose. Use this power consciously, intentionally, and watch as the world transforms before your eyes. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to dive deeper into consciousness-expanding content. Join our community of awakened individuals who are reclaiming their creative power through linguistic mastery. Remember, every word is a choice, every choice creates reality, and your new reality starts now.